Hello, it's a Great Southern Ancient Miniature Man, and I'm here to talk about something a bit different today. This is a presentation on embossed shields. So, I really like embossed shields because the 3D aspect of them just makes it so much easier to paint, and they just sort of stand out and look more vibrant, look more realistic, look more interesting in the armies. And this is a good demonstration. Some nice Thracians. Victrix one here with excellent shield transfer from Little Big Man. But if you compare it to the embossed one, it's a Warlord Games one. I just think it's chalk and cheese. That looks so much better to my mind, and they're very easy to paint, I find. Just they take dry brushing and contrast. Obviously goes in really well around the nooks and crannies, so end up looking excellent. So what I'm going to do is take you through a whole series of manufacturers, the big ancient miniature companies, and then there's quite a few available now online from smaller sort of homemade companies, some of them on eBay, some of them on Etsy, and I'll give you a look at a whole lot of them as well. So while we've got these guys up, I'll just show you a few others from Warlord Games as well. So one of the good sets they make is the British ones, Ancient Britons, and it comes with a whole lot of the figures of plastic, but a whole lot of metal shields which are beautifully embossed, as you can see here. Fantastic for bronze shields, very easy to do, just a layer of bronze and a bit of wash, and they come up looking excellent, I reckon. Done this one slightly differently, a bit more red obviously to the base colour, and then a gold dry brush over the top and a bit of a black wash over that, and again I reckon it looks way better than any shield transfers you can get. So that's them. Next up I'll show you a few Relic, I will do Relic, why not? Let's do some Relic. So Relic being the Canadian company, they do these really nice small shields, so they're good for cavalry and good for phalangites. So the Macedonian Rising Star one, they've got the Spartan Lambda here, and there's that Macedonian one again, and then some Seleucid shields. I've painted a few of these up here, well, one of them, and a few as is. So with the, oops, lost it, anchor sort of style symbol on there. Again, very easy to paint. And a couple more of those guys. So there's a couple more of the Lambda Spartan shields. Another one with the Rising Star Macedonian. Don't think there's a Seleucid. This one and this one. They're pretty good value. You can get quite big packs of them from Relic Miniatures. Focusing very well there. Focus, focus, focus. Nope, never mind. Alright, who else makes good ones? So a company that is a little bit less well known is the Temple of the West. They've got some nice German and Dacian figures. I think the Dacians are the pick of the bunch. I've done a video on them, and fantastically detailed embossed shields are the highlight of them. So this guy, and this one with an equally awesome shield on there. Super cool, super easy to paint. And as I say, just the dry brushing and washing just gives you a really nice result with them. German one, pretty simple, but it's got the embossed sort of crescent moon and so on the top there. And then a few more from that manufacturer. They do some pretty cool gladiators as well. There's a really nice Gorgon style embossed one there waiting to paint. Another cool Dacian one. Another nice Germanic one. And a bit more simple Germanic one again there. So that's Temple of the West. Next guys I'll show you would be the, oh, before I forget, I had some more Spartan Lambda guys from Relic. These are my Helot archers. Shown before. Let's a quick look at them. Vendor, now made by Thistle and Rose Miniatures in the US. Shown these recently, but here they go again, just for their excellent shield. So they have quite a few of these embossed metal Macedonian shields, and also the Rising Star ones here. So again, done them simple bronze and then a dark wash, and they look great. That's what they look like out of the packet. They're all pretty cool and fairly good price on those guys. What else we got? A couple of guys from Eureka Miniatures, so slightly different theme here, or variation on the theme really. They're embossed in the sense that they've got that great pattern around the central shield boss and right around the rim, so again easy to paint, nice colours, do some cool patterns and washes and dry brushes. There's another Judean guy, similar concept to him. I've got some bigger ones also from the same company, which are kind of Assyrian shields. They're almost out of scale for these guys. I'm not quite sure whether to use them at all, but I might one day put some out if I get some Assyrians. But if you have a look how much bigger they are than your average shield, they're a bit bit enormous for these guys, but they're just a simple dark base coat and then a dry brush, and already I reckon they look pretty cool. And then this one that was just done with contrast paint, so pretty simple to put on and looks excellent already, I'd say. What else have we got? Here's one guy from the Dark Age Irish set from War Games Atlantic, which have got this particularly awesome shield, which you may have seen before. You get one per sprue, so you get, I think it's about 6 in the box, and yeah, great, easy again to paint and make looking very impressive, I reckon. Got one special one, which is actually a homemade one. My crafty daughter did that, with the eye in the middle and then the tentacles all around. I'm pretty happy with that one of my favourites. So that was made with green stuff. Should try myself to make some, but there you go, looks pretty cool to me. So that's them. I will now get some of the ones that I've got online from Etsy, and I'll give you a look at those. Actually, before the Etsy ones, I'm going to show these ones, which I did get on eBay. They're from Footsore Miniatures in the UK. You might know Footsore. They make a Mortal Gods range, lots of Greeks and Persians and a few others. And interesting looking figures. They're made by the same guy, or sculpted by the same guy as has done Agema Miniatures. These shields are fantastic. Beautiful owls for Athens. Got 2 packs of them. And then we've got the classic Spartan Lambda ones here. They have a nice back with the ropes and a fair size cavity there for the soldier's arm, so they should attach pretty well. So they look great. So I got them from Footsore. Sorry, from eBay. I wouldn't get them from Footsore because I've tried to correspond with them many times over the years and they just totally ignore emails. They don't reply to anything. I've also seen people comment that their figures a bit overpriced and often quite soft metal with lots of defects in them that need fixing, and that would align with the fact they do, well, they're casting for Agema Miniatures, who I do rate, but Greg from Agema's told me, you know, he struggles to get all his lines done because they tend to put him at the bottom of the list, and when they do come out they also have a whole lot of sort of casting defects. So I'm not a fan at all of Footsore Miniatures, but I do like their shields. Their Middle Ages stuff looks pretty cool, but the Clash of Spears, yeah, I'm not going to even bother with them. Okay, I'm going to paint some of them. I'll show you them in a bit. And here's the first batch of the ones I've got from Etsy. So these are from Dynamic Prints Studio. A lot of the stuff on Etsy, there seems to be some really good 3D printed figures and shields and so on. A lot of it is ridiculously expensive and the cost of postage is crazy, but this was a lot more reasonable. And actually they did give me some support to, I think they gave me free postage or some discount, something to make it a bit easier, so that was great. So let's get a look at these ones. I've got some nice Spartan shields here. I'll show you the size compared to the other ones that I've just shown, the Footsore. These are definitely a bit bigger, a bit more ornate. Let's get this out of the way. I've got that cool edging as well. So there's the Footsore one. So yeah, these are significantly bigger. You get a group of 5 there. There's another 5 the same. Got 10 of them. And I think these are different. I think they don't have the lambda bit in the middle. So these could be a bit more versatile. So I'm going to rip these open and get into them. Yeah, so they've just got that nice edging to them, but not the actual lambda. In comparison to the Athenian one from Footsore. These are quite big shields, no doubt about it. They got on the back. Oh, that's cool. Actually got a significant size handle on the back too. Okay, good. Well, again, I'll paint up some of them and we'll see how they look in action. I'll put the link to that website, but it's just there, but I'll put it in the video as well. Actually, I just opened that third packet and realised they're different again. So they've got the more splayed sort of lambda shape there. Another 5. So yeah, they're all great. The only issue is whether they're going to be a little bit big for the usual 28mm guys, but we'll find out soon. Right, that's a bit of a progress report on how I'm going with these shields. So the metal ones here from Footsore, and then these plastic ones, or 3D printed ones I should say, from the Dynamic Prints on Etsy. And they've been done basically with a gloss black base coat, and then a light white secondary layer, and they're sort of ready for colours now, so they're already looking pretty cool, I reckon. These little ones you might recognise, they were the ones from New Line Design for the Indians. So yeah, I'm just sort of experimenting with some methods for doing them. Some of the other ones I've done, so again that's one of those Dynamic Prints 3D ones. If you're looking very closely, you might realise that the largeness of them, the extra rim around them, I've snipped away with these little sprue sort of snippers and a little bit of sandpapering, because I just figured they were all going to be too big. So then, what else have we got to show you? These are the metal Footsore lambda ones in various styles. And then next one's up, I've got a few metal foundry ones now. That's the Spartan one, and that one is from the sort of mythological range, the Argonauts, with the cool ram's head on them. Just bring them up a bit closer in case they're hard to see. So they're slightly smaller than those 3D printed ones. And then last up, I've got a new set of Etsy ones that just arrived today. Let me bring them forth. I'll put the link, I shall put up a still image after this, a link to these ones, but they were the most cost effective of a lot from memory, cheapest and most reasonable postage. So they are all the Spartan lambda And I think from memory, I think I got 20. They come in packs of 10. Yeah, I got 2 packs. So the lambda bit's not quite as prominent as on the either the metal or the other 3D printed ones, and they're very slim. Size-wise, they're pretty good though. So the metal, yeah, they're exactly the same as the metal Footsore ones, and they cut down ones from Dynamic Print Studios. They are a teensy bit smaller than them, so these are a great size, perfect size really. So I'll paint up a few more of them and see how they look as well. All right, back soon with some completed products to give you a look at. A couple of weeks later now, I've finally done enough to show them off. So on the left you see the Footsore ones, and the lambda's quite good. Certainly the Athenian ones with the owl are quite unique and really cool. So a few of them. Up the top you've got that Dynamic Print Studio ones available on Etsy. As you can see, I did trim the outside rim off all of them to make them a bit more standard sizing. And then again, these ones from Etsy, the ElliesOddotiesCo company produced them, but I'll show you now some of the completed ones with figures. So up first are the Footsore ones, and as I said, the Athenian one I think is fantastic, well worth getting. The Spartan one, you know, not super special. The only advantage it has over some of the other Spartan ones is that it does have the ropes and so on. If you want all that detail on the back, then that's the best one for that. But certainly I love those Athenian ones. I don't think there's anything else out there that's anything like it. That figure, by the way, is a foundry guy, first one I've done, and had a lot of fun with him. This one is predominantly a War Games factory with a Victrix head. So off with the Footsore. Let's go with the Dynamic Print Studios ones next, and as I mentioned a few times, I've trimmed the edges off them, otherwise they'd be humongous. Painted them in a few different styles here. So that one, just in the pure bronze, I think is my favourite of those ones. I reckon they're brilliant and easy to put washes on and make them look really good. The other thing you might notice as they come around, they do have that big handle at the back, so you can actually, like this guy, I haven't even glued it on, I've just clipped it on his arm. So if you're playing, say, some sort of skirmish game and you want to simulate maybe a figure changing from one faction to another, rebelling or something, you could actually just easily pop the shield off and change it for another one. Dynamic Print Studio. So they're some of the best, but as I say, the downside is you do need to trim the edges unless you want a huge shield, and they're a little bit more expensive. And then with the choice one for the canny customer would be this one, the one from the ElliesOddotiesCo on Etsy. Yeah, they are the best value for money. They are a little bit simpler in that they don't have any detail on the back, but when they're held close to the body, it's probably a good thing. You hardly see that anyway. And they also, as well as having the nice embossed lambda, they have a bit of battle damage and scarring and so on sort of built into the surface of the shield, so it does give quite a cool look to the shield. So yeah, value for money, I think they win it. So basically, conclusion is they're all excellent in their own ways, and they will add a lot to your figures. If you want to do Spartans and Athenians, then give these guys a go. Let me know what you think. If you've got some of them, I'd be interested, and I shall catch you on the next video, which shouldn't be too far away as ever. See you later.